Hi, thanks for tuning in. You're watching in Realty. Okay, on this last segment, we come a bit different because we would like to tell you on how you can best achieve the best out of owning or buying a property. Hence, this segment is dedicated to you who is a first-time buyer or who just needs to know on what is right and wrong or appropriate when buying or selling a property. So we have with us is James Ong. He is a director of Fortis FP Consultancy to tell us on the basic guidelines on what you need to know about buying a property. Thank you for making the time, James. Okay, James will be with us for the rest of the month, but we'll start with the simplest question, James. Okay, what would one consider before owning or buying a property? What should one consider?
Okay, Lina, thank you very much for having me in the program. Buying a property is actually a very big decision. I will basically advise people when they want to buy a property, there are a few pointers they should decide. One of them is the financial capacity.
Of course.
A lot of people thinking buying property is very simple. Yeah. Actually, it's not that simple. You have to know actually the financial capacity. You know, everybody wants to own a home because when they are young, they say, I want to own a home. So financial capacity means, number one, do you have the cash savings? And in many cases, you have to have some cash savings.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, you have to have some cash savings from money in your bank. And also, you'll be able to look at the options where, in case you need to buy a property, do you have money in your account too of your EPF? That will basically help you when you buy a property. And last but not least is the ability for you to get a mortgage or a loan. This is one of the first area.
We know, okay, say like if I already know what I have in my bank and if I were to know how far I can go with the money, so I should go to the bank for advice, right?
Yeah, that's the reason when you want to decide. So on the first stage, you have to know roughly, can you get a mortgage? In most cases, if you have a permanent job, you'll be able to get a mortgage. But on the second thing, when you want to choose a property, Lina, you have to know actually what you want to buy it for. You want to buy it for to stay, or you want to buy it to rent out as investment. A lot of people, when they're young, like me, when many years ago, when I buy a property, I really dream roughly what I want. Okay, I want to buy an apartment. So you want to buy an apartment because you think that maybe it's not that big, but you want to buy an apartment. So you have a dream, you want to have an apartment, you move out from your parents. So you don't want your parents to be at home, you want to be bachelor again, whatever. So you want to buy it to basically stay on your own. But on the other hand, there are people who are staying with parents free of charge. Yeah. Food included, lodging, everything included. They say, okay, I have money, why not I buy a property? Okay,
James, say like I know how much I have in my bank, and then asking for a mortgage or loan would be a different story, right?
Yeah. So what you can do is that when you decided to take a mortgage, you also have to ask yourself, do you want to buy the home that you intend to purchase the property? Is it for your own stay? When people are young, they always want to look forward to buy a new property. They want to stay, they want to get out from the parents' home. So they want to basically, I have some freedom, I come back late or whatever it is. So when you want to buy a property for your own stay, you basically it's for your own stay. It means you buy it for you to move in to stay. On the other hand, there are people who buy their first property or they choose to buy a home or a house purely for investment. Okay. They still prefer to get free lodging, free meals, whatever, with their parents, free. Then it says, why not I buy a property? So that type of purchases, when they choose to buy the property, that property is not for staying, for own stay, it's purely for investment. So when they buy the property, they may end of the day says, I get some income. Instead of putting in the bank for savings account, they get some rental, whatever. At the same time, waiting for the property one day when the value is good, they sell, they make a profit, or they upgrade to a different property.
Should we declare to the bank, say if the house is for, for investment or for stay?
In most cases, the banks will basically ask you. Okay. The bank has its own criteria. Different banks will have different type of rules, whatever it is. But honestly, buying a property is very straightforward. Banks normally gives you, if you qualify for the finance, they do the credit check. If you can qualify, not an issue at all.
Okay. And we are going to have much more discussion on property for investment or buying for stay. But right now, it is the basic guidelines on what you need to know on buying a property. So we shall go for the next question. James, what are the common mistakes that one generally makes when buying a property?
Okay, when a person wants to buy a property, you have to do some homework.
Okay.
Nowadays, we are in the age of technology. Long time ago, when you want to buy a property, you will basically have to go and see the property. But now you don't need to. There's a lot of marketing activities. You take out a newspaper every Friday and Saturday. You have a lot of launches, condominium. So when you want to buy a property, you have to basically check the market out. So you see what developers are offering, and you basically have to see what you want. So there's some criteria that you have to ask yourself, you know, what I want. So some of those things is that if you check the newspaper, this is what you want. You have to find the locality, or you can actually, maybe you have a friend who's been staying somewhere near their working place. Hey, you know, why not you look at this place because of the locality, easy transportation. So you have to do some homework just to find what property you want. This is one of the areas. On the other hand, to find the real property you want, it differs very much. I'm a married man, Lina.
Okay.
As a married man, my requirement is totally different from maybe somebody single or not married. Some single people say, I want such a big house. I want a place where it's easy for me to go in one door, that's it. I lock the door, that is my heaven, my sanctuary. So condominiums and apartments will basically be different. So some people, they have lifestyle. Like myself, I have gym facilities last time I never used, you know. So there's some people who want, okay, I want facilities, I want to do this. So apartment and condos do have facilities. But for some people who are married with children, their priorities are totally different. They may just want a property because of the issues of safety. They want to stay somewhere where they feel safe. There's a safety part of it, the security, where they can feel actually very secure living in that area. So you look at it, there are actually two different types of area we have to look into, which is depend on who's actually buying the property. Yeah.
All right, and then picking a location is also another general mistake that one always make, right?
Yes.
Looking at where you work and where you'll be traveling and about public transportation. So what would your comments be?
I believe, you know, a lot of us stays in cities.
Yes.
You know, whether it's going to be in KL or Penang. You know, a lot of time we go into the car, then we spend some time in the car, we travel. If one person can do well in finding a location is to limit traveling time. If you limit traveling time, then you make use of the balance. So location is very important. Everybody knows that if you choose the right location, you have a lot of advantages. One is for you to travel to and fro in those places you need to do business or work. At the same time, you will have an opportunity for you to get a capital gain. End of the day, there will people still be in demand of the property. So location is very important. You have to basically see individual needs. Whether do you need this to be near, or there's an infrastructure, LRT, or what are the traveling times. So it differs very much to individual requirement.
All right, thank you so much, James. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for this segment. So there you have it. 3 important points for you to know. 1 would be your finances, 2nd would be your purpose on owning a house, and 3rd, location, location, location. So we'll be with James again next week. More interesting topics to talk about. See you again on In Realty.